Who? My husband. Oh, okay. So maybe you can get a break. Well, no, you can do it. There's not that many people. I often ask the people that I forgot to ask to just come up. So, you got somebody? We'll start in 1 minute, Jackie.
Okay.
1 minute, okay?
I'll pick a piece.
It's a little more promising because it's been. Yeah. Pretty smart. Christmas Eve, were you? No, we always have 20. It was 25, but it's good as a second thing that I've seen here on Christmas Eve. It was a good experience. I'm going to tell people now it's time to listen to Jackie. I know you're anxious to be quiet and to listen to Jackie.
Oh my goodness gracious! Someone got shushed. Here we go. Johann Sebastian Bach. For those of you who like to know what the heck I'm doing here.
Thank you, Jackie. It's great to start our day with Bach.
It's always a great idea.
Good morning. Welcome to the Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Stuart, Florida. Today is January 2nd, 2022. My name is Judy Plow, and I'll be your worship associate this morning. Thank you for joining us to start 2022 together. We're a welcoming congregation. We welcome people of all gender identities, races, ages, and backgrounds. It's wonderful to see all our vaccinated members in the sanctuary, although we are on YouTube too. Hello to all of you joining us online. To be put on our email list or to find out more information about us, go to our website at www.tcuuc.org. You'll get announcements in our Friday online newsletter. And if we have visitors, if you're comfortable, please step up to the microphone and introduce yourself.
Can I just stand here?
As long as you're...
Well, I can hear you. But the people on streaming can't hear you.
Thank you.
Step up to the mic, please.
No pressure, boys, no pressure. Don't see her either.
Thank you.
All right, very good. My name is Gwen White, and this is Jenny Deaton. We come here from Indianapolis, and we've been down here for parts of the winter for the last couple of years, and are just kind of looking around for some place to move to eventually.
Welcome.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, we have a brown bag lunch the first and third Tuesdays at the Stewart Veterans Memorial Park downtown at noontime. Looks like that's this week because it's the first week. If you have questions, talk to Pam, who's raised her hand right there. She'll tell you more about it. I want to thank people who've helped with the service. Jackie Robbins, as always, thank you. Our greeters and ushers, and Joanne for setting out the food, our host, Corina Poloni, and our tech wizard, Chris McGann. After the service, we'll stay and discuss growing our congregation, and we're going to meet outside and share some food prepared by Janet and Jerry, Joanne, and another Janet, and maybe more. So thank you. I can see the tables and chairs that are already out there, so we're all set. This Friday, we are going to resume the current events on Zoom. So if you have any interest in that, either check online or speak to Bob, our minister, because he knows all about it. He's in charge of that. So now we're going to light the chalice. Bob will. Thank you, Bob. May the turning of the page of the calendar give us a fresh start, a turning toward the light and toward hope for better times ahead. May we open our hearts to those around us and wish them peace. Now it's time for opening words. Like many of you, I'm an adopted Unitarian Universalist. That is, the UUs adopted me. I had fallen away from Congregationalism and then from the Society of Friends. I discovered a UU congregation in Schenectady, New York, shortly after my divorce. The openness and the open-heartedness of the UUs welcomed me a long time ago. Sunday services, which included readings from authors, poets, and spiritual leaders instead of just from the Bible, satisfied my intellectual curiosity. In addition, there was a women's group for working women called the Evening Branch of the Women's Alliance. This group offered monthly supper meetings with stimulating talks by women speakers. It became a big part of my life, and I brought my young daughter with me to their planning meetings. Taking the adult education class called Cakes for the Queen of Heaven introduced me to women's spirituality. The biggest question I heard during that course was, what if you were brought up to believe in a God who looked like you? That was life-changing. Part of that course included an emphasis on nature. I had a deep love of the sun and moon, the forests, the breezes, the lakes and streams. I learned that nature was an ancient and true source of inspiration. I was pleased to be a member of that UU society when the seventh principle was adopted by the UUA. The seventh principle is respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. I repeat, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. This connection to other people and to all of nature is crucial to my beliefs. As you contemplate how we might grow as a congregation, think first about what drew you to Unitarian Universalism. Most likely, your own interests will attract others. Okay, on the wrong page. There it is. Time for the Beauty of the Earth, number 21. And we'll sing a hymn through our masks. Let us recite our affirmation, speaking the first verse and singing the second. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Oh, boy. Technical difficulties.
And now,
It's time for our joys and sorrows, concerns. We hope that the sharing will connect us and enable us to show each other love and support. I received a number of requests for updates on Dixie Klisby, who lives in Jacksonville. And her husband, Ted, sent me an update. And it's hopeful. It's also pretty serious. So this is the update Ted said I could share with you. Dixie is out of ICU for the second time since major heart surgery on the 13th. Her heart and kidneys are now good. She is off the ventilator, so her muscles can make the lungs work like they should. She is getting physical therapy to get her whole body to work. Her fingertips and toes are black, so she may lose some. Yeah, that's don't know yet. She has a tracheotomy to take all the tubes out of her mouth. She can only talk when they put a device on her throat. Now, this is hopeful and pretty serious. So Dixie is important to us here. She played a really critical role when we needed her. She really did a lot for us. So we hope that the doctors can do a lot for her. And as I get reports, I'll keep you updated. Dixie Klisby, we certainly turn a stone and send our thoughts, vibes, and prayers her way. Now, who else has a matter of joy or concern, sorrow to share? We ask, before Fred starts, not for you, Fred, but we ask that all of them be personal and brief. Fred.
I'm Fred. That's my lovely wife, Ronnie, over there. She just completed 2 eye surgeries, and the other day, she took her patch off, she looked at me and said, "Fred, you're really handsome." She could see me for the first time.
Anyone else with a matter of joy or concern or sorrow to share? Anyone?
Hello, I'm Jackie, and I just want to let you know that Martha Alfie, I've visited her twice and played for her, and her smile is just as youthful at 92 and beautiful as ever. She's at Cleveland Clinic Martin Memorial South Rehab Center for nurses and whatever they call it. She said to me, "Well, I'm just going to be here till I die. So as often as you can come and play, that would be really beautiful." But she's doing kind of well, and it was just a joy to see her reacting every single time a piece ended. She was just like, so it was a great joy. It's a little sad over there, but that's life.
Anyone else? Yes, Pat.
I'm Pat Berg. A month or so ago, I shared the joy of a new dear friend and neighbor about her quite unexpected midlife pregnancy. Sadly, it ended last week. And she's still working through some of the physical side effects of that. And we just hope for the best for both her and her husband. Also, my beloved stepson has had to put his mother in hospice this week. So this new year starts off a little sad, but there's nowhere to go but up.
Good. Anyone else? Then we always move one for people we know who are on our minds and hearts that we don't come up and talk about, but we certainly carry with us and hope for their best. The reading is Emerson, "These Roses," in the back of our hymnal. These roses under my window make no reference to former roses or to better ones. They are for what they are. They exist with God today. There is no time to them. There is simply the rose. It is perfect in every moment of its existence. Before a leaf bud has burst, its whole life acts. In the full-blown flower, there is no more. In the leafless root, there is no less. Its nature is satisfied, and it satisfies nature in all moments alike. But we postpone or remember. We do not live in the present, but with reverted eye lament the past, or heedless of the riches that surround us, stand on tiptoe to foresee the future. We cannot be happy or strong until we too live with nature in the present, above time. Ralph Waldo Emerson. And now, moments of silence. We'll first hum and then sing Spirit of Life, hymn 123. I'm sure you remember, I remember greeting 2021 with a lot of hope. Remember that?
Yep.
Some of us even said, thank God, it's a new year. I wasn't hoping to feel the same way about 2022, but I'm sorry, I just have to tell you I am. But I want to greet the new year with hope and with gratitude. And we invite you now to do the same as we pass the plate for our morning offering. Now, who are the volunteers I meant to ask? Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, both of you, Lou and Dave. Your generosity is certainly received with gratitude. I also have to mention, we'll continue mentioning, that this sock invites any additional giving to help this family that was separated at our border, this family from Guatemala, who has become reunited in Indiantown. So we are helping them with whatever we can give over and above our regular church support. So come up here and look at the pictures if you want, and feel free to put something in the sock. It's kind of for Christmas time, but when we give these folks our support, I think they feel like it's still Christmas. I hope they do. I could say as the minister of this congregation that my theme song could be, I get by with a little help from my friends. This week, or this Sunday, today, I have 2 videos that people have sent me that I'm about to share. The one that's going to come next arrived on Monday, and the title was, as you'll see, Eye Candy, E-Y-E, Eye Candy Concert. When I saw that, I wondered if my medication would be enough to see what was forthcoming. But anyhow, once I saw it, I thought it was spectacular and needed to be shared. And so here you have it, Eye Candy Concert.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth. Alleluia, 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 alleluia.
Isn't that a wow? That was from Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. And Karina, I would like you to work on a camera that would make me as large as the ceiling or the wall. If you could do that. Now, because this is the beginning of the new year, I have to start by reading something I've read before. And if you were with me in my first time here, you've heard this many times, and I hope you will hear it several more times. It is as scripture as any scripture I know. It is the preface to Bertrand Russell's Autobiography. It's from around 1950, so it's a tad patriarchal, but it's still magnificent. So this is his preface entitled, What I Have Lived For, Bertrand Russell. 3 passions, simple but overwhelmingly strong, have governed my life: the longing for love, the search for knowledge, and the unbearable pity for the suffering of mankind. These passions, like great winds, have blown me hither and thither in a wayward course over a deep ocean of anguish, reaching to the very verge of despair. I have sought love, first because it brings ecstasy so great that I would often have sacrificed all the rest of life for a few hours of this joy. I have sought it next because it relieves loneliness, that terrible loneliness in which one shivering consciousness looks over the rim of the world into the cold, unfathomable, lifeless abyss. I have sought it finally because in the union of love, I have seen in a mystic miniature the prefiguring vision of the heaven that saints and poets have imagined. This is what I sought, and though it might seem too good for human life, this is what at last I have found. With equal passion, I have sought knowledge. I have wished to understand the hearts of men. I have wished to know why the stars shine. And I have tried to apprehend the Pythagorean power by which number holds sway above the flux. A little of this, but not much, I have achieved. Love and knowledge, so far as they were possible, led upward toward the heavens, but always pity brought me back to earth. Echoes of cries of pain reverberate in my heart. Children in famine, victims tortured by oppressors, helpless old people, a hated burden to their sons, and the whole world of loneliness, poverty, and pain make a mockery of what human life should be. I long to alleviate the evil, but I cannot, and I too suffer. This has been my life. I have found it worth living, and gladly would live it again if the chance were offered me. Bertrand Russell. Well, my topic today, what is a model Unitarian, comes from another video I received from my friends here. Does it border on irreverent? No, it certainly borders on fun, and we're about to experience it. If any of you have been here for a long time, there are just a few, there was a guy here, a leader in the church named Christopher Beck. And Christopher Beck read this at a talent show we had probably about 10 years ago. And I told him how original that was. He said, "Sorry, Bob, it's from Pirates of Penzance." Well, it sounded original, and he did it wonderfully. A group here now does it also wonderfully.
He is the very model of a modern Unitarian. He was born Romanian, so don't call him Bulgarian. He's also not from Budapest, Ukraine, or Lithuania. He probably is the coolest thing to come from Transylvania.
I am the very model of a modern Unitarian. I'm here because I've lived so long, I'm now octogenarian. With 50 years attendance, I'm a very senior resident. Although I'm better looking, I am older than the president.
Although he's better looking, he is older than the president. Although he's better looking, he is older than the president. Although he's better looking, he is older than the president.
We're educated, cultivated, liberal, and turning gray.
We all like Shakespeare, opera, ballet, and we all drink Beaujolais.
We're all egalitarian and we're humanitarian. We are the very model of a modern Unitarian.
We are the very model of a modern Unitarian. We're ethical, sustainable, and also vegetarian. If you would like to join us, it would not be so regrettable. We have a lot of recipes, and some of them are edible.
We are the very model of some modern Unitarians.
Our masters of theology have made us seminarians.
We never preach damnation, and we don't have a confessional.
We're open and inclusive, and we're also quite professional.
They're open and inclusive, and they're also quite professional. They're open and inclusive, and they're also quite professional. They're open and inclusive, and they're also quite professional.
We're always looking for new ways to make the world a better place.
But Utah politics ensure we often fall down on our face.
We're all egalitarian and we're humanitarian. We are the very model of a modern Unitarian.
Yellow.
I am the very model of a modern Unitarian. Devotion to the evidence has made me a contrarian. If you're the optimistic type, believing everything you read, consider that a friend like me is just the very thing you need.
I am the very model of a modern Unitarian. I'm coming out the closet and confessing I'm a thespian. I realize the second line does not rhyme with the rest of it. But being gay in Utah helps you learn to make the best of it. But being gay in Utah helps you learn to make the best of it. But being gay in Utah helps you learn to make the best of it. But being gay in Utah helps you learn to make the best of it. While driving in our Priuses, NPR gives us our news.
Mind your P's and Q's, for some of us are LGBTQs. LGBTQs. Some of us are homosexuals.
That's all the videos for today.
Will suffice.
I want to begin the year with a kind of congregational probe brainstorming session. The issue is, how can we get more people through our doors? There have got to be more people in our area who want the non-judgmental affirmation and cohesiveness that we have found here. It just feels good to know that what I believe is right for me for now, and what you believe is right for you for now. And it's okay not to be sure on any one day or even every day exactly what we believe. I used to think religion, faith, was like the image at the end of an old cops and robbers series called Dragnet. The image was a big rock, a big etching tool, and a strong arm etching something into that rock. The rock of belief and faith crumbled once you started asking questions. So you started with a rock and you ended with questions. That's the journey. I learned early that many church people didn't like questions. They came to church to hear answers. My first board chair, while a student minister at Yale Divinity, told me if I ever raised a question and didn't answer it, he would walk out. Religion was about answers, not questions. You see bumper stickers and billboards. Jesus is the answer. The imp in my brain couldn't resist. And what was the question? Hence my joy in reading this article in the New York Times by Peter Weiner. The credit says he was advisor to 3 previous Republican administrations. I think that must have been Bush, and Reagan. The article is Peter Weiner, Why Jesus Never Stopped Asking Questions. This is Weiner. Among the things that have long fascinated people about Jesus and explain his enduring appeal is his method of dialogue and teaching. He asked a lot of questions and told a lot of stories in the form of parables. In fact, parables form about 1/3 of Jesus' recorded teachings. The Gospels were written decades after he died, so his questions and parables clearly left a deep impression on those who bore testimony to him. Some of Jesus' questions were rhetorical. Others were meant to challenge or even provoke. In some cases, Jesus used questions to parry attacks by religious authorities who set traps for him. In others, he used questions to enter more fully into the lives of others and to help people look at the state of their hearts. He asked questions about their fears and their faith. Jesus used questions to free a woman caught in adultery from condemnation and to inquire whether people considered him to be the Messiah. He probed deeply into questions not many had asked before him, like, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Then the article goes on. His questions led people to ponder and to find their own transformation. Why Jesus never stopped asking questions. In the beginning, it does seem that religion is about answers, not questions. You learn to recite creeds. You join confirmation by learning the creed. Religion seems primarily about what you committed to memory. We used to joke about putting a billboard outside here on Central Parkway and putting on it lines that would tease people to come in. Lines like, you will help you question your answers. We invite and celebrate a lot more than questioning. We are pretty passionate about the dignity of people who have been treated with anything but dignity, and that too often in the name of religion. And many UUs have burned with a passion for justice and paid the ultimate price. We have a lot to neon light humbly. I want to work on what to neon light. I've suggested our board hold a day retreat and set 3 goals to emphasize here. Nothing religious about the 3, honest. Maybe we need to work more on the humbly. I hope you get and read the UU World. Do all of you get it? Most of you get it? Some of you get it. If you're a member here, you're supposed to get it for free. So if you don't, let me know or Debbie know, and we'll get your name and address to the people that needed to send it to you. This issue, The Joy is the Journey, is gold. I would say put it under your pillow. It's really terrific. The article by Melissa Harris Perry. Remember her? I wondered what happened to her when she kind of disappeared from MSNBC. It says here she's Maya Angelou Presidential Chair at Wake Forest University. What's that? NPR. Okay. It also says she's author of Sister Citizen and editor-at-large at Elle.com. Or that's her credits. But this is her article. I got to read you a couple paragraphs. This magazine offers an introduction to the faith community in which I have spent my life. These are the words of the ordained and lay people, the certain and the seeking, the lifers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted, the insiders and the rejected, all of whom have found a home in the extraordinary yet intimate communities of Unitarian Universalism. Do not expect a clearly marked roadmap. These pages do not dictate dogma because Unitarian Universalism is not attached to particular beliefs. Rather, it is committed to specific work, striking a balance between openness to differing viewpoints on one hand and fierce advocacy of shared ethical claims on the other. This special issue hints at our rich, complex, imperfect, and collective struggles to balance these goals. Unitarian Universalists have no set creed, but we do affirm 7 shared principles. If you join in fellowship with Unitarian Universalism, you can hold any opinion you want about the existence of a God and what to call that God. You can change your opinion over time. You can follow your conscience, your readings, your thoughts, and your desires on issues like the existence of an afterlife, the idea of sin, the value of prayer, or the authority of religious texts. Among our congregations, you will find many different worship styles, raucous and religious. Would that kind of catch us, do you think? Raucous? And no, I'm just suggesting. Contemplative and nature-based, intellectual and secular. You can pray or not, sing in the choir, or mumble the hymns, rush out after service, or help brew the coffee. Oh, the coffee. May coffee come back soon. Collect the canned goods or organize the field trip. Pass out a petition or let the petition pass you by. Dress casually for services or don your best attire. Having set aside divisive doctrinal battles, we seek a straightforward commitment to the fluid, open, collective work of seeking our truths together without assuming that we all share the same truth. Melissa Harris Perry. Now, also in this issue by Galen Gingerich, 10 things I wish people knew about Unitarian Universalism. I want to say about Galen that he is the minister at All Souls, New York City. And he and Forest Church were Martha Mickelson's northern ministers. And Martha's name is on that instrument. And after I did the service for Martha in the other building, because it was the only building then, Yost went north, and the service for Martha in the north was led by Galen Gingerich. We said Galen because we didn't know how he said his last name. But here are some of the things he wants everybody to know about UU. Unitarians played a pivotal role in the founding of the United States. If you look at the principles of the UUA, you'd think we had founded a nation rather than a religion. In a sense, we did. 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents were Unitarians, including Thomas Jefferson, who reportedly thought the U.S. would soon become a majority Unitarian nation. Now, Thomas Jefferson was right about a lot of things, but not about this, and maybe some other things we could bring up, but won't. Then Galen goes on to say, religiously speaking, we're in our adolescence. We are in our adolescence. You knew that. If you visit a Unitarian Universalist congregation, you may walk away thinking we know more about what we don't believe than what we do. That's because we've only recently left home, theologically speaking. Both the Unitarians and the Universalists left the Christian fold more than a century ago. The 2 denominations merged in 1961. Like teenagers, we have just left home. We're relieved to not be under mom and dad's thumb, but we haven't fully decided on a home of our own, either where it stands or how it's furnished. No worries. It took the Christian tradition hundreds of years to cobble together its tradition from then contemporary sources. Well, he has a bunch of others, but I'll just say the last thing. We're the gratitude people. the gratitude people. While a Unitarian Universalist theological identity hasn't yet cohered, here's my sense of what we can make our own. Each religious tradition has a defining discipline of faith. For example, Jews emphasize obedience to the commandments. Christians emphasize love of God and neighbor. We could talk about that. We have in the past. We would say, would that were true. I consider myself one, and I have to say, would that were true. And Muslims emphasize submission to the will of Allah. For us, our defining discipline could be gratitude, which emphasizes all we have given, all we have been given, and all we owe back in return. Galen Gingrich. UU World reminds us we have some great guiding lights. But what are we to do, and what are we to do here and now? That's what we are asking you to do today. Stay, eat a little, and brainstorm. The board is working on the requests of groups in our community who want to use our premises for meetings. The hope is that some will learn who we are and like who we are enough to try us. And how can we go into the community to serve? We joined the protest on Roosevelt Bridge. We joined the protest against Publix to press them to raise what migrant workers were paid. We've talked about simple projects like picking up litter on the beach or wherever people gather, and wearing t-shirts that might get attention with lines like, "You, a faith that doesn't judge," or "You, a faith that welcomes everybody," or "You, we believe in more love and less talk," or, and this is my favorite, "You, we don't know what we believe, do you?" Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? We do believe we have something joyful and liberating here. Kindred spirits built our nation. Kindred spirits gave these grounds and buildings and wanted us to carry on. They believed in us enough. Adolescence has some good energies to keep as long as we last. Let's pool our brains and hearts and see what we can stir up. The closing hymn is 175. We celebrate the web of life. 175.
I want to make sure I have the right hymn, so give me a moment. This is not what they pay me to do. Let's see if this is it. I'll go in a second. Here we go. We
Judy will extinguish the chalice during these closing words. We've got to do our best in this long, drawn-out COVID nightmare. Remember when we were glad 2020 was history and we weren't? We've got to hope 22 is better. I believe it is this congregation's 30th year. And we remember being 30. We could conquer. May we still.
For those of you who are interested, the middle piece that I played today was J.S. Bach after Vivaldi. I guess when he discovered Vivaldi, he decided to write something in the style of, and that was the grave movement, or the slow movement, which I played a little bit faster than slow because I've been enough graves this year. And now as an egalitarian and democratic society here, I'd like to know, would you like something upbeat? Would you like something long? Would you like something slow and solemn? Up, up, up. All right. I'll just play something that's been on commercials. It's a great piece. Everybody knows it. It's been in many movies. Cadillac commercials, Diamond commercials, and the last one I saw was a dog commercial. But this is the prelude to the first suite, a solo cello suite by Bach in G major.